your future lifestyle. We have the Eight of Pentacles, we have the Ace of Pentacles, we have the Eight of Cups, and the Six of Cups. Okay, this is a very positive start for sure. One thing that's really sticking out to me is this idea that you are going to be financially compensated a lot more for your work. So you're going to be putting in either less effort or the same amount of effort. Like, your effort isn't really changing, but the amount of money that you're making for that effort is. So you're being well compensated, or it's the compensation that you deserve, okay? So for example, like, let's say that you have a little side hustle going. Let's say you have an online business or something that you're hoping to grow. And so you're putting in all of this effort to get it off the ground, right? But once you develop that customer base or that fan base, whatever your online business is, once you develop that and you have that foundation, you may be able to put in less work. You may be able to, because getting something started requires a lot more effort than it does to necessarily sustain something, depending upon what you're doing, right? But your expertise is also going to be growing, right? And so it's, when you're starting something, you're trying to learn, you're trying to figure it out, you make more mistakes. And so it's like you're becoming more of an expert, and as your expertise grows, as your knowledge grows of your business, your skill level, your craft, all of that, you are being fairly compensated for that. And so you're not having to work as hard. You may have felt in the past that you had to work twice as hard as other people to get anywhere, and that is ending for you. So with the Eight of Pentacles here, like, you're well respected for what you do. You are known as an expert at what you do. People say, like, you have the best product or the best service, or you're the best in your field. Like, people view you as someone who's very knowledgeable and someone who's really good at what they do and good at what they create. And so you're going to be seeing a lot more financial opportunities and abundance coming towards you with less effort, less grunt work. And so because of that, obviously, if you have more money and more resources and more time is money, okay? You have more time because you're not having to put in so much effort. Then you are able to have more time to relax, you're able to take more vacations, you're able to indulge in more luxury items, you're able to shop at the expensive grocery store, you're able to, go out to eat more, you're able to, splurge on those things that you've been wanting to splurge on, but before maybe weren't in your budget. So maybe you're able to get your nails done more, or you're able to get your hair dyed at the salon instead of doing it at home. I mean, apply this to your life how it resonates. I'm just throwing out examples here. But yeah, definitely you're able to afford a more expensive lifestyle, but I also think, again, like, it's not just about the money, it's about the time. Like, having more time for your hobbies, having more time to develop new hobbies, new interests, new passions, having time just to relax and do some self-care and rest, and maybe even just work on other goals that you have. Like, maybe you've been wanting to get into like a fitness routine, or you've been wanting to learn how to cook like healthier recipes and stuff like that, but you just haven't had the time. Your future lifestyle, you have the time. So your career is in a really great place. Your professional life is in a really great place, and that is 100% elevating your future lifestyle. Now, with the Six of Cups here, I do feel like you have a lot of helping hands, but you also have more to give. And so I think, in this future lifestyle, you either have a really good friend group, you've connected with more soul family members with the Six of Cups, really talks about soul family and soulmate connections. This could also talk about you may be having a romantic partner that you share past lives with, and so they factor into your lifestyle, and so you're not going out and doing a bunch of stuff on your own. either you're in a committed partnership with someone, or again, like you have that soul family and you have a strong community, because to me, I just see you going out and doing things with other people or with your person rather than doing so much on your own. So yeah, like you may work by yourself, you may be like a business owner or be in a leadership role where you like delegate a lot rather than having rather than working in like a team environment. But in terms of like your personal life and like your downtime, I just see you spending a lot of time with other people or with your person. So in your lifestyle, your day-to-day lifestyle, I don't see you going out to dinner alone. I don't see you running your errands alone. Not to say that you're always with other people, but it definitely feels like you have more people around you and you're not spending so much of your time alone. And I think for a lot of you, that's a welcome change, because with this Eight of Cups, I really feel like you've had periods of your life where you felt really lonely, where you felt like you had no one to depend upon or no one to help you out when you needed it, and you felt like you had to be strong all the time. So I feel like this is a welcome change. Like even if you're an introvert, I feel like it's kind of nice for you to have people to help you out. I'll use myself as a personal example. So, I'm an introvert for sure, but it is nice to have someone, like, for example, I had, when I moved to this area, I had a really hard time finding Gracie a good vet, and it was really stressful, like, going through that process of, like, having different vets and them being like, well, she's too aggressive. My cat doesn't scratch or bite, but they're like, she's hissing so much, like basically like they were afraid to touch her. And so having to take her to like multiple vets and hearing her cry and them not letting me go back with her because of COVID at that time, like it was just a mess, and it was really emotional. Especially I'm like very attached to my cat, like she's my baby. And so it would have been nice to have someone that I could rely upon to go with me, but at that time I didn't really have someone who was dependable who would go with me and be that emotional support. And so I think that's nice, like if you've had to be on your own so much and always had to be strong and had to go through difficult experiences by yourself, I think it's going to be really nice in this future lifestyle that you have dependable, reliable, good-hearted people around you who are willing to, lend a helping hand, who are willing to be an emotional support for you, because sometimes life is hard and you need someone to like emotionally hold your hand, if not physically actually hold your hand, So anyway, sorry if that was like a long drawn out thing, but it just reminded me of that experience. Okay, I also think for some of you with the Six of Cups, this could be speaking to the fact that you'll be starting a family, or if you already have children, with you having more time because you're not having to put so much effort into building your career, your professional life up, building up your finances. Because of that, having that extra time, you're able to spend more time with your kids. Or even work on starting a family, if you're trying to get pregnant in the future or your partner's trying to get pregnant. So that's what I'm seeing so far with your tarot. With the repeating eights here, I do feel like this future lifestyle is a really big change. From your previous lifestyle. I think that your finances have definitely transformed for the better. So they have gotten a lot better. Some of you may be watching this and may feel like, am I always going to be broke? Am I always going to be living paycheck to paycheck? Is it always going to be a struggle? And finances are relative. What one person thinks of as financially stable, another person may not. And so that's not me saying everyone watching this is financially struggling, but rather your finances are just getting so much better, maybe even better than what you ever thought was possible. Okay, let's continue. We've got caffeine here. I knew someone was going to get this card in this deck. I knew it. We have trespassers. We have lighting the way. I'll also show you the back of these cards because they're really pretty. This deck is really pretty too. Okay, And we have the balancing act. With this balancing act card, yes, like with caffeine, you are, busy. You are, having things to do, but everything is in balance and it's manageable, and you feel like it's not all going to one area. So I think in the past, oh, sorry, there's a car alarm going off. Okay, it stopped. Anyway, I feel like in the past you felt like you were working all the time, you were studying all the time, you were working on a million different things to try to further your career or try to improve your finances, and it was just kind of draining you. Whereas now, like, everything is in balance. So like, yes, you have a lot to do still, but it's more balanced. So you have time for fun, you have time for your professional life, you have time for your children if you have them, or you have time for your partner or your friends. Like, everything feels more balanced. And I think part of that is because you're not having to do so much on your own, and you do have those helping hands that we were talking about. You do have that support system in place, and I think that's super helpful. With trespassers here, I do feel like you're very protective. I feel like, there's this energy here of like, I had to work really, really hard to get to this place in life, to achieve this lifestyle. It took hard work. No one just handed this to me. It was not given to me on a silver platter. Like, there's this energy here of you being self-made. And so because of that, like, you're super protective of it. And you aren't going to let anyone, I think, negatively impact you. And so, if someone is out there being jealous or being petty or gossiping about you and trying to, kind of create this upheaval in your life, you're like, no. I worked too hard to get to this place to not be happy, and you're not going to negatively influence me because of your jealousy or your projection, whatever. And so, yeah, and that's kind of a good place to be in, honestly. Like, you have something to fight for. The higher we climb in life, right? Like, the more that we achieve, the more that we have, the more that we have to lose. That's just how it is. And so I feel like you're not falling into that anxiety trap. You're not falling into this place of like, oh no, what if I lose all of my progress? You're like, listen, I worked really hard to get here, and I'm gonna fight to stay here. And if you want to come in here and try to undermine my success or my happiness or my accomplishments over my dead body, like, you're gonna have to, like, just claw it away from me, because I'm not going to give it up. I'm not going to give up my spot, because you really did work hard to achieve this. And so it kind of feels like this energy of like new money versus old money. And you know how people are like, well, I don't know, sometimes with like social classes, there's a little bit of elitism and like, well, you have all this money, but you're still not part of the club. You're like, nah, I earned my right to be here. I earned my right to be in these spaces. I've earned my right to be on top. And so, for some of you, for example, this could look like you achieving a really coveted position within your work, where typically maybe that space was always held by a man, and you're a woman watching this, and all of your coworkers who are at the top, all of your colleagues are men, and so it's like a boys' club. And so you kind of have to say like, listen, I earned my spot to be here, so it could be like encountering sexism in your workplace. It could manifest like that. This is a general reading, so I'm just throwing out an example to help give you some context here, but it could be something like that. Yeah, or it could be that you're trying to succeed in a male-dominated space, or if you're a man watching this, maybe you're trying to succeed in a female-dominated field, and it's again like, you're not like us. You can't, and like you having to defend like, listen, I've earned my right to be here. With this lighting the way card, this card always makes me think of the hermit. She's by herself, she has the lantern in the dark. It looks like the hermit card, right? And so I think this is saying a couple of things. One, this card just happens to be right on top of this Eight of Cups. And so remember how we were talking about this idea of you in the past, being on your own and not having that support system and having to be strong all the time, this is, to me, confirming this idea that, yeah, in the past you were in that hermit energy and you didn't have that support system, or if you had people around you, they just weren't reliable or dependable. And this is saying, you know, you still have that strength from that time period in your life. Like, you still have that and you can call upon it when you need it in this future lifestyle that you have, but you don't always have to be strong and you don't always have to be on your own anymore. I feel like this is also saying, though, in this future lifestyle, you're still going to maintain those spiritual practices, or even exploring new spiritual practices that really help you feel almost like a sense of security in this new lifestyle, because again, like, you have achieved a lot of success and a lot of financial abundance. And so to prevent you from having that anxiety of like, oh no, what happens if, you know, it all crumbles and I lose it, and you know, that sort of scarcity mindset, like preventing that scarcity mindset from coming up again. I feel like those spiritual practices are going to help you feel really protected, because, you know, when you achieve a lot, there are sometimes people who are going to be jealous and people who are going to try to make you feel insecure. And it's unfortunate, but it can happen, you know? And so I feel like those spiritual practices are going to help you feel really safe. And they're going to help sort of, I think, prevent you from having too many walls up, and prevent you from being too guarded, because with the Trespassers card, like, you could end up very guarded. And so I feel like this is what is keeping that sweet softness to your heart that you do need, and, you know, to be happy. And so, you know, this could look like you still maintaining a routine of keeping a gratitude journal, or pulling tarot cards in the morning, or you keeping a journal, you praying, you maintaining an altar, you doing moon rituals, you taking time to meditate out in nature. I mean, whatever spiritual practice works for you. You know, maybe you like to make those, I've seen those, like, I don't know, like certain witchcraft practices, like people make the little witch balls for like protection or cleansing, things like that. I could see you doing something like that. Okay. Yeah, with caffeine though, I mean, you are busy, you are, but I think it's busy in a good way. You know, there's a difference between working to earn a paycheck and working and doing what you love and what you're good at and what you feel confident in with that Eight of Pentacles, and receiving more than adequate, like good compensation for it. Like, that has to feel so good, right? And so yeah, I feel like that's a big difference. And yeah, you having more time. I feel like your time is so important to you, even more than the money. Like, having more free time, I think, is going to feel so liberating. And then you can invest in those other areas of your life that are still important to you. We have energy field, get what you put back into the universe, manifestation, attraction, and momentum. We have the last chapter, write your own story, closure, resolution, and forgiveness. I'm sorry, I stumbled on my words because as I was looking at this card, I was like, man, it's just like the Eight of Cups again. So this is definitely, like, this future lifestyle that we're tapping into is going to start when you end something in your life. Like, there's something big that you're walking away from to start a new chapter of your life, and that's when all of this abundance comes in and really elevates your lifestyle. So I wasn't expecting to get a little bit of a backstory here, but that's exactly what we're getting. So maybe you're moving to a new place, maybe you're leaving a relationship that was distracting you from your, your work life. Maybe you are leaving a certain field of work to start your own business. You know what I mean? Like, there's some sort of big ending in your life, and then you going somewhere else and you finding all of this financial success, but also those soul family connections, because I feel like that's a huge piece of this as well. And then we have field of flow, let go of expectations and control, release, freedom, and surrender. There's something here about you following your heart and it paying off big time. And so I feel like this trust and this faith that you have, and this, I think that you, honestly, I feel like you leave something behind. And it causes you to have this period of time where you feel really alone. And then it's like, because you have shown all of this faith and you have done all of this like spiritual work, and you said, you know what, I deserve better. So you're getting better. So like you're putting that intention out there and you're receiving something in return. And so there's a lot of blessings coming in for you, but those blessings come in when you have this surrender. And I feel like, you know, in this future lifestyle, your mental health, I think, is a lot better, because you're like, you know what, if I can get to this amazing place, and I got to this amazing place when I had a lot of doubts along the way, and it was a rough journey, but now that I know all of it, because hindsight is 20/20, right? So like, I think in the future, you're going to see the purpose behind why certain things happen to you, and you're going to be able to see like that higher perspective, the plan that was guiding you to this place of abundance. And so you're going to feel a lot more rooted and grounded in your faith and your connection to source and the divine. You're going to have a lot more trust within yourself, trust within the universe. And what this is going to, you know, sort of manifest like in your day-to-day life is you're not going to be so stressed out. You're not going to sweat the small stuff anymore. You're not going to have this tendency to overthink and to worry and to have so much anxiety. I'm just hearing like you're just letting go, and you're getting more in flow. And so you feel, I think, a sense of liberation from your own mind. Like, I feel like if your mind hasn't really been a safe space for you, if it's been a place where you had a lot of, you know, intrusive thoughts, racing thoughts, I feel like you're going to be free from that. You're going to, I think, finally sort of, you know, master this art of the law of attraction. And I feel like, you know, part of this freedom is also coming from almost like this clean break from the past, you know, like you're not so weighed down with regret and with anger or with resentment or with old hurts. I feel like you know, like you've let that go. Like you have so much to be thankful for with this future lifestyle, that to hold on to all of that stuff from the past would just be stealing your joy and your happiness in that future lifestyle. So like, why do that to yourself? You're only hurting yourself, you know? Yeah. And I also feel like, you know, you're more open to things. So if you're someone who typically says no or cancel plans last minute or stays at home all the time, I don't see you doing that in this future lifestyle. I see you spending more time outside of the home. I see you spending more time with other people. I see you trying new things, putting yourself out there more, saying yes to things that you typically would just automatically say no to. And so I feel like you're just more free, you're more adventurous, and more willing to explore. We have fire magic here. Let's see what else we have. And we have, oh, water magic. Okay. It's funny, you got the balancing act, and then we have these like opposing elements. That's really cool. I feel like this is speaking to several things. I feel like this is speaking to this idea that your future lifestyle is going to feed this need to feel free and to feel adventurous and to have fun, but it's also going to feed your emotional needs, and you're still going to feel safe and you're still going to feel comfortable. And I think that's a really nice space to be in. Like, there's enough excitement, but there's also enough time for self-care and emotionally fulfilling your needs, right? And your spiritual growth, and having that quiet time and that peaceful, peaceful sort of moments, maybe in the morning or at night, to recharge or to set your intentions for the day or to do some self-reflection. You know, it's not always go, go, go. There's still those peaceful, quiet, restful moments that I think you need. Also, I think this is maybe hinting that some of you may really get into witchcraft if you're not already, or you may start to do some light spell work, you know, getting more creative, I think, in the way that you manifest things and the way that you try to call things into your life. And for some of you, this may be totally new. You may be like, Bethany, I've never done any of this. But in the future, you might do a bit of candle work, or you might, you know, even find, I feel like there's something here about you really working with the elements and you finding what you need in that moment. And so this could be, maybe in the future you'll be living by water, for example. And so maybe for you, the way that you sort of like cope and the way that you find that self-restoration maybe is just going to the beach, sitting by the water, taking a walk by the lake. You know, it doesn't have to be like this whole spell work thing if you're not resonating with that. It could be something as simple as that. And so I do feel like you're out more in nature, though. There's just this thing of like you're not indoors all the time anymore. Like you're out and about and you're doing stuff. And so it feels a lot more active maybe than you were in the past. But active in a good way, not like working all the time. Because again, like there's just more balance between all of the areas of your life. We have support. We have infinite abundance. And we have counseling. Okay. So several messages coming through. Part of this is confirming a lot of what we've already been saying. So this idea of support, you having an actual support network, a community. So not just one person that you're relying upon, but several people that you can go to when you need help or when you need assistance and not having to do everything on your own. And for those of you who are business owners, this could be like you having a reliable team of people, and so you can delegate without having to micromanage, and that gives you more free time, right? With this infinite abundance, I feel like this is really speaking to you becoming like a master manifester, someone who's able to just put that intention out there and receive with ease. And so, you know, I feel like you're also, you might be doing something in your career where you can create a legacy or where you can even create generational wealth. So like this wealth doesn't end with you, it continues down your family line. That may be a more specific message, but it did come through. Also here with counseling and support, I feel like you'll have people where you can go to for that advice, you can go to for that emotional support and actually trust their intentions. And so like, yeah, you are going to have some jealous people, you are going to have people who want to undermine your success, but not everyone is going to be like that, and you are going to have that soul family around you and probably a supportive partner as well that you can turn to for help. Also, this could be literally talking about maybe you're working in the mental health field, or you're doing something where you're counseling people, advising them, or even giving spiritual support, because we can really see from this that you have really grown and developed in your faith and your spiritual practices. And so people may come to you a lot, seeking that emotional support, seeking that spiritual guidance from you even. Yeah, and I think that's it too. When you have so much with this infinite abundance, you have more to give, not just financially, but emotionally. You have more resources, you know, like you're not feeling so drained anymore in this future lifestyle. So, I mean, to sum it up, you're making more money, you have more time with less effort, you have a more balanced lifestyle, and you are feeling more confident, you are feeling more supported, you have better people around you with that soul family message, you don't feel so alone and isolated. And yes, there are some things coming up, right? With that trespassers card, you are going to feel defensive, guarded, like you have to protect what you've earned, but that's just a small piece of this, right? I wouldn't get too bogged down in that message. What do I want to do now? Let's maybe, I'm sorry, we're just like free flowing today. Let's just get some Zodiac messages and then this will wrap up your reading. let's see. Which signs are going to be important in this soul family? Let's do that. Who are these soul family members for group 1? Okay, so we've got Scorpio, so that's a water sign. And you did get the repeating 8s. And Scorpio is the 8th sign in the Zodiac, so there you go. Okay, we got Virgo now. So I may have like moved that, but Scorpio and Virgo. Virgo's an earth sign. Oh my gosh, Scorpio again. Okay, so definitely Scorpio. So be looking out for Scorpio and Virgo. So these could be people that you end up working with. This could be a future romantic partner, or this could be a future friendship. But it's going to be a soul family member because that's what we asked about. Okay. And then let's just see which houses will be significant in this future lifestyle. Group 1. Okay, we've got the 5th house, so you could be doing something creative, 100%. The 5th house can also talk about children, and it can talk about, I always associate the 5th house with romanticism as well, and so you're definitely going to be feeling like there's more love in your life. You're going to have an opportunity to romanticize your life more than you already have and exert more creative control in your lifestyle. And so this could be like you being able to like revamp your wardrobe because you have the financial resources to do so, or you can redecorate your home, or you can like if you're someone who idealizes like going for your coffee in the morning, or like going for brunch on the weekends, things like that make you feel like you're living in a movie or something, or like you're the main character. You can afford to do stuff like that. You can afford to indulge yourself more. And some of you, like I said, could be starting a family, or maybe you already have children. Oh, the 8th house, there you go. Let me tell you, Scorpio energy is a big deal for you, and I'm not surprised because we got the 8 of Cups in the last chapter. This feels like you went through a death, and then you had a rebirth, and this is a new chapter, and you went through a major like self-transformation, and as a result, like your external world had to change because you had changed, and your vibration was no longer in alignment with your old life, and so like you had to elevate. I mean, you have been on this incredible journey upwards, and you are climbing that ladder of success, and it's really cool to see that in your reading. And I hope that you're excited about this, and I hope it gives you a lot of hope for your future, Group 1, because I feel like you've been through it. And honestly, this could also be speaking to this idea here, now that I'm seeing it, of you being in a financial position to see a therapist. Like maybe that was something that was never in your budget before. I know it can be expensive, and so maybe this is you having the time or having the financial resources to see someone for your mental health. And maybe that's going to be something that is really transformative for you and really helpful. All right, so Group 1, this is going to wrap up your reading. Thank you so much for letting me do this for you, and I will see you in my next one. welcome to your reading. I will say, just looking at your tarot so far, there is a little bit of an overlap with group 1. So if you were drawn to group 1, maybe check it out. I'm not saying you have to, and I haven't seen the rest of your cards yet, but just so far off the bat, I'm seeing a little bit of an overlap here. But let's get into it. So your future lifestyle, we have the Temperance, we have Death, we have Eight of Wands, and we have the King of Swords. So the Death card here, Scorpio, your future lifestyle is very different, very different from your present lifestyle. You are in this place of, I think part of it is that yes, your lifestyle is different, but a big part of it is that you yourself are so different. Like your future self, there's something about you where I don't know what has happened in your past, but I'm just feeling this energy of someone being so fed up and saying, you know what? I deserve better, and getting angry and like, you know, feeling like, you know, it's enough. Like just drawing a line in the sand and saying this is enough. And so your future self really lives their truth. Like just so honestly, authentically, you show up as yourself, you know yourself, and a lot of people don't know themselves too well. You know, there are a lot of people out there who have very little self-awareness. Man, do you know yourself? You're proud to be who you are. You've worked hard to get to this place, and I mean, like your throat chakra, like you're very much completely open, speaking your truth, advocating for yourself, advocating for what is right. And as a result, I feel like that force of you being like, this is my truth, this is what I want, this is who I am, is just welcoming in all of these like positive changes coming in really fast. So your lifestyle is going to change kind of overnight. I mean, it's a lot, and it's going to happen in an unexpected way. It's going to throw you out of balance, and yet with Temperance here, because like this is a very unstable energy, like this is positive, but it's so fast moving and it can be overwhelming. It's like all of this good stuff hitting you all at once, and it can kind of knock you over a little bit. Whereas with Temperance here, it's like, okay, let's balance this out. So like a lot of stuff is going to change really quickly and is going to affect your lifestyle, but because it's something that's right for you, because you're living your truth, you're gonna find that sense of equilibrium, that balance, quite quickly. And so like, yes, things are hectic. Yes, there's a lot of uncertainty. Yes, there's a lot of changes going on. And, you know, it's a lot of good stuff, but even just seeing the repeating butterflies here, like so much about transformation, and even just the way I'm speaking, like it feels very scattered. It doesn't feel as like clear of a story as it typically is when I do readings, but I think it's because there's a lot of fast moving energy here. And even if you think about Mercury being the planet of communication, and it's the fastest moving planet, that's why Mercury retrograde is like, feels like it's happening all the time, you know? And so, you know, that's the feeling here of it being like just this fast, like chaotic energy, but it's moving you very quickly to a place of alignment with your truth and what is going to make you feel like you are living a life that is honestly and truly reflective of who you are and what you want and what you stand for. With that King of Swords, like you're gonna have to make a lot of quick decisions because of all of this change that is coming in. And it could be that you make one choice that kind of sets off a domino effect. So for example, maybe you choose to leave your job, and so as a result of that, you quickly are finding a new job, but then you're having new coworkers, and then maybe through that new job, you start dating one of your colleagues, and so now your love life is different, and now you have to, you know what I mean? Like all of these decisions can start to snowball. Or even if we go back to that example again, like you leave one job to go to another, but then that new job says, hey, we do have a great position for you, but it's in an entirely different location and far away from where you live, and then you end up moving, and you see how things can just quickly snowball. That's what it feels like. And I do feel like you're gonna navigate it well though. And you're gonna do it with grace, and I think you're going to cope with it pretty well with temperance here, but it is going to be a lot. With the King of Swords, though, you're going to be super, you're going to feel, even though things are chaotic and kind of out of control, because your mind is clear, you are actually feeling like you kind of feel like you are steering the ship for the first time in your life, even though the waters are choppy. You know, it's kind of like just this weird kind of paradox here, this weird dynamic. But yeah, I mean, I feel like you have been wanting change for so long that even though it's smacking you in the face because it's coming in so quickly, it's like, it still feels like a relief, even though other people may look at your situation and be like, man, they must be so overwhelmed right now. You're just like riding the waves. Like you are just so happy to see movement and to see positive progression. Like you have been so done, I feel like, with your past or present circumstances that when this, you know, all of these changes come in to welcome in this future lifestyle for you, you're like, finally, thank goodness. So yeah, your reading's quite different than how I expected it to go, but let's continue onward. The part that is overlapping with group 1 is this Scorpio energy, this energy of change, and this energy of having a more balanced lifestyle, but so far that's where the overlap is. Okay. Let's see, we've got wishing you health, and we've got autumn. Okay. This to me is echoing the death card too, because in the season of autumn, you're letting stuff go. So I think as so many things are coming into your life, a lot of stuff is leaving your life at the same time. So in this future lifestyle, you may be letting go of a lot of friendships, but new friends are like coming in at almost the same exact time. You could be leaving one relationship and getting into another romantic partnership really, really quickly. And that other people may be like, aren't you moving too fast? Aren't you nervous about like moving on to another relationship so quickly? But you're like, no, like this feels so right for me. Like I am finally making decisions and I am finally living my life from a place of like, what do I want? What is going to make me happy? And so you feel just super confident and you're just being super decisive. Like I think it's just, I don't know. It's like a veil was lifted and you're seeing things with like fresh, clear eyes for the first time in a long time. And you're like, you know what? This is exactly what I needed. This is exactly what I want in a partner. And I don't care if other people think I'm moving too quickly. This feels right to me. And yeah, I feel like it's stuff like that, you know, and I'm also thinking of travel here. I feel like for some of you, like these leaves like scattering in the distance here, some of you could be moving, and that's playing into a big part of why you're having so many fast changes, so many quick changes to your lifestyle. So, and I think it's a big dramatic shift. So maybe you're living in a rural area and you move to the city, or maybe you live nowhere near water and then you move to the beach, you know? Maybe you move from the beach to the mountains, or maybe you move to another country. Like it feels like a huge shift here. With wishing you health, I think this is a key part too, because I feel like for some of you, this is maybe something you neglected in the past. This may have been an ongoing issue for you. And I feel like there's a couple different messages here. And remember, it's a general reading, so just take what resonates. But for some of you, maybe you neglected your physical health. You kind of fell prey to like hustle culture and that kind of thing, and this need to like always be productive. And so that was a big part of your lifestyle, was just like constant go, 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 go. And now you're like, Like, nah, that doesn't feel right and authentic to me. I was just doing that because I thought that's what I should be doing, but now I'm living in my truth. And you know what? I value self-care. I value my mental health. I value my physical health. You know, they always say, like, oh, how does this saying go? I don't want to mess it up. People say, you don't realize your health matters so much until it's the only thing that matters. So until your health fails you, you never realize that it's really the only thing that matters at the end of the day. Like, you can't work if you're dead, you know? And so I feel like you're learning that lesson. For others of you here, this could mean that you have like a long-term health condition. So maybe you have like a chronic illness or something like that you've always struggled with, and you have felt maybe like you couldn't share that with other people, or other people didn't understand, or even just the way you viewed it. Maybe you had maybe some like negative feelings towards your physical body, like it had failed you in some way. And maybe it was just something that, like, yes, it's physically hard having this condition, but it's also taking a major toll on my mental health as a result. I feel like you're coming to a place of acceptance, because it is to, you know, like, depending upon like what condition you have, if you do have one, it's not within your control, right? Like, if you could snap your fingers and be healthy, you would, but you can't, right? And so, like, maybe there are some things you can do to better your situation, but maybe not. And so I feel like what you can control, though, is your mental health and how you relate to your physical body. So I could see that improving with this wishing you health card. Like, mentally, you've come to this place of acceptance, and you're taking better care of what you can control. So even if it's just your mental and emotional health, that's what you're focusing on, right? And yeah, so I feel like you, in this future lifestyle, have more time and value taking care of your health in all aspects. And I feel like for a lot of you too, there's a lot of heart healing that's going on. And even, look, more butterflies. I mean, there's a real transformation here. And I think that for some of you, like, you have felt so stuck and so trapped for so long that it does feel like a cocoon is being broken open, like finally this feeling of freedom and liberation from whatever was keeping you feeling so trapped. And I think that there's a lot of stuff in your life that you wanted to leave, and I think you are so happy to see it go. We've got Melancholy Heal, Honor Your Feelings, Emotional Release, Deep Emotion and Sadness. We have Halfway Point, Meet in the Middle, Compromise, Common Ground, and Reconciliation. And we have Rose Valley, Go Forth with a Soft and Open Heart, Love, Feminine Energy, and Vulnerability. It really is like a rose, like, cracking open. I think part of this, like, growth is painful sometimes, right? And so it is a lot of change, and it is a lot to process, and there's going to be times, even when you have made all of these changes to your life and you're in a better space, there's still going to be times when those feelings from the past come up, and this is Spirit saying, like, honor that and respect that and just let it flow. When it comes up, it is what it is, and it doesn't mean that you're regressing, it just means that you're a human. So for those of you who don't know, I like to watch Real Housewives, and there's a spin-off called Vanderpump Rules, and I was watching one of the older episodes, and there is a woman on there. Her name's Ariana, and she has been pretty open about her struggles with, like, depression and her mental health. And she was saying in one episode how, you know, she had been living in, like, this crappy apartment, and she thought that it was the apartment that was affecting, you know, like, her mental health. And so she just thought, if I could move into a new home, I would feel better. And so then she moves into her dream house. I mean, if you want to talk about a lifestyle change, like her old apartment, I think you couldn't even run the microwave and the dishwasher at the same time without the power going out, or the air conditioning. It was something like that. You know, like she had like the old school like window units. It was like just this really crappy apartment. Her boyfriend had lived there with like his previous girlfriend. It was just like a messy, you know, like single guy's apartment. You know, like it just wasn't a great space. Anyway, and so then they move into like this massive like multi-million dollar home. So it's like a huge lifestyle change, right? And you may be going through a lifestyle change that maybe isn't quite that dramatic, but with the death card here, it's a huge change, right? So you may think like, oh, when my lifestyle changes, I'll be happy. You know, if I just have a nicer house, if I just have a nicer car, if I just live in a different area, if I just had different friends, like if I just had a different partner, because that, you know, the people that you're around really do affect your lifestyle, right? You know, if I was just around better people, I would be happy. But here's the thing, like happiness, contentment, it's not a destination. It's not a place that you can arrive in and set up camp and live there and be happy forever. Like happiness is an emotion. It's water. You can't hold it. It comes and it goes. Contentment comes and it goes, just the same as melancholy will come and go. Anger will come and go. Hurt will come and go. It doesn't stay forever. And so there's good in that and there's bad in that. Like, yeah, I won't be happy for forever, but I won't be hurt for forever either. Feelings are like the weather, like it'll come and go. And I think that's you learning the seasons as well with autumn, like things come and go. My mental state, my physical health, it'll change. But I just have to accept that that's part of being a human, that's part of being alive. And so, you know, Ariana, when she moved into that multi-million-dollar home, she was still unhappy. And that was like almost worse than living in the crappy apartment because she didn't have anything to look forward to. She's like, well, damn, like I'm in this beautiful space. I'm in my dream home and I'm still not happy. Now what do I do? Like she didn't even have anything to strive for anymore because she was already like so financially set. And that's, you know, something society tells us, like that hustle culture that we were picking up on before. Like you're told that, you know, if you want to be happy, you need to be rich. And, you know, like rich people aren't all happy all the time. Like that's just not life. And so I feel like, you know, as difficult as that pill is to swallow, as difficult as that is to accept, that even with all of these positive changes in your lifestyle, which could look like the things that I just said, you know, new car, new house, new job, new area, new amenities that are close to you, restaurants, stores, shopping, you know, even just like nature, you know, like beautiful scenery, even though you may have all of these positive changes in your external environment and in your lifestyle, it's not going to mean that you're going to be happy all the time. And so I know that's maybe not the message you want to hear, but I mean, it's the one that came through. And I feel like here the beauty is that your relationship with yourself is improving so much, because it, as hard as it can be, when your lifestyle does improve and you don't have all of these things distracting you anymore. So, you know, you don't have this financial struggle, or you don't have a car that's always breaking down, or friends who are really toxic, or, you know, you're not bored all the time because there's nothing to do in your town or your city. Like, when you don't have those things distracting you from what is the real root problem here, of like what is causing that unhappiness, that's when you're able to actually get down and do the real hard inner work. And so I think that you tapping into your divine feminine energy, regardless of your gender, is your saving grace here. That is what is going to bring you to this space of like compromise with this halfway point, this idea that, you know, okay, you know, my external environment has improved. I have been receiving so many blessings from the universe with the Eight of Wands, so many blessings. It's time for me to do my part and compromise here and meet in the middle. And that's going to be you processing these emotions, releasing what you need to release, tapping into that divine feminine energy, and really coming to this place of acceptance and understanding of your emotional process. And I think as well, there's something in your lifestyle where you're a lot more open-hearted and you're a lot softer. And I think that when you come on the other side of this, you're going to feel like you can be brave enough, because we were talking about living in your truth, right? You're going to feel like you can be brave enough to be vulnerable and not have these walls up, not be so reserved, not be so guarded, not feel so cold towards life, towards other people. You're going to be a lot more open-hearted, and as that manifests in your lifestyle, I think that's going to look like you being willing to fully invest in your friendships, in your romantic partnerships, in your relationships with family, even being more open with your coworkers and feeling more comfortable to ask for help when you need it. And yeah, I feel like you're just softer. You're just softer. I feel almost like you are less bothered. Like there's just this energy of you being so peaceful, so calm, so at ease in your lifestyle, in your environment, in your close connections. There's such a, I don't know, like if you were, it's almost like someone who was maybe like a type A person is now a go with the flow kind of person. It just feels like you have just released, I think, all of these constraints of what you should be doing or who you should be or what your life should look like. And now you're just very unbothered by other people's opinions. You don't argue as much. You don't feel a need to assert yourself or your opinion or validate, or I guess receive validation from external sources. It just feels, you know what it kind of reminds me of? You know, in like those cheesy like Hallmark movies or like the Christmas Netflix movies, I like to watch those, where the like super busy like career person living in the city goes to like a small town and, you know, is charmed by the locals and then ends up quitting their job that was making them miserable and they open up a bakery, and you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. It just feels like you're making all of this massive change that causes you to like move and have to do so much just to get to a place of slowing down. You know, like that's the paradox here. So it feels like your life is like easier, slower, more peaceful, more relaxed, softer. Like everything is soft, everything is muted, everything is just more peaceful. I feel like even the music that you listen to, like it's just going to be more relaxing. The content that you consume, like it really feels like to me like you don't like things to be so loud anymore. You don't like things to be so busy anymore. You really like to be in your own energy, but still balancing that out with like really deep emotional bonds with the people that you care about. And so you are more vulnerable, you are a bit softer, you are, I think, just really pouring into yourself. And so I feel like self-care is a big part of your future lifestyle. I feel like any feminine type of activity, so any activity to you that resonates with feminine energy, like I always think of gardening as a feminine kind of thing, just because of like Mother Gaia and that sort of thing. So like whatever feels like feminine or romanticized to you, that definitely, I think I'm seeing that in your reading here. Like, you know, going to the market and buying fresh flowers, that kind of stuff. Like, you really, I think investing in yourself, investing in the aesthetics of your life. And whenever I see those like cheesy movies, I think of a romanticized version of someone's life, like, you know, riding, you know, a bike with like one of those cute little like wicker baskets through a small town, like kind of like Gilmore Girls. You know what I mean? Like that kind of vibe. That's what your future lifestyle feels like. If you haven't seen Gilmore Girls, watch an episode of Gilmore Girls. That's what I'm talking about. Like, even the autumn card, like that's a fall show, you know? That's your future lifestyle. That's your future lifestyle, 100%. Okay, let's continue. And I know your reading has a lot more depth. I wasn't expecting that, but I mean, the messages come through. Oh my God. I was just talking about gardening and here we have her. That's funny. Okay. An affirmation for acceptance. And we have the Fate card here. Okay, I'll talk about this card in a second. This card is echoing that Eight of Wands. 100%. This affirmation for acceptance. And I believe I just said that, right? Like you coming to this place of acceptance. All right, we're on the money. We're on the money. Okay. There's going to be some unexpected changes. This is a card that also makes me think of the Wheel of Fortune. So there's going to be some divine intervention. There's going to be, you know, I think this idea, especially with this meet in the middle, like part of this is your free will, part of this is divine intervention forcing you to make certain decisions. But I feel like ultimately you're choosing what is right for like your soul's purpose and what your soul wanted to incarnate to achieve. And so I feel like, you know, if you have this like unexpected change and you have this instability and you have a little bit of chaos in your life, the best way to respond to that isn't masculine energy. Like masculine energy tries to control, and that's not going to help in this situation. And so this idea that you're going to be leaning into your feminine energy is so good to see, because feminine energy is chaotic, it is mysterious, right? And so that's what you should be doing. You should be going with the flow. You should be accepting what wants to leave your life and accepting whatever wants to come in, like just moving with the energy. Meeting spirit halfway. If something wants to leave your life, don't cling to it. Let it go. And I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here, because I feel like you already get that. You already get that. And so that's where your power is coming from. That's where you're able to have all these positive changes, because you're not resisting progress. You're not resisting progress. And with this affirmation for growth, you may not have even realized that you were sowing these intentions that you were sowing. You may not have realized that what is coming next for you is something that you actually, you know, kind of put into motion yourself. And that comes from you getting to know yourself on a deeper level, you coming into your truth, and you living your truth. And so it's like, now that you know who you are and what you want and what is going to help you get to that place of acceptance and emotional fulfillment, now we have to bring that in for you. The old cannot stand. And so this affirmation for growth, like, growth can be painful, it can be hard. Like, if you think about the birthing process, it's not easy, right? And with the death card always comes rebirth, transformation. Even when it's a literal death, I mean, I believe in reincarnation. I don't know about you, but that's how I view it. And so with this affirmation for growth, like, you know, you yourself are changing, and so your lifestyle has to reflect that. Your future lifestyle is almost mirroring your internal growth. So as you continue to work on yourself, as you continue to heal, as you continue on this journey of self-development, because you've already done a lot of work with the death card, as you continue to do that, you are going to see that reflected in your external lifestyle. And so, like, as you change, your circumstances change as well, but they're changing for the better. They're changing for the better. And so, if you're watching this reading now, and you're like, okay, what exactly is my future lifestyle going to look like? Like, what are the details of that? Whatever you could envision in your mind's eye, whatever you could envision that would feel the most comfortable to you. What would make you feel the most comfortable? That is what is going to be your future lifestyle. So some of you watching this may really want to live, like, let's say you would really feel most comfortable if you were living in a massive house in a major city and you could walk to everything and you didn't even need a car and you worked from home and you hate cooking, so you would be able to afford to eat out all the time, and you would have a wide circle of friends because you're an extrovert. If that is like your dream lifestyle and you can afford to have, I don't know, 3 dogs and you have a live-in partner, if that's your dream lifestyle, that would be what is coming in, because you have sown these seeds. And if that's your truth, that's what you truly, truly in your gut think would make you happy, not what you've been told will make you happy, what you think in your gut would actually truly make you happy, your authentic truth, then that's the lifestyle that's coming in for you. On the other side of that, like if you're like, my dream lifestyle would be living in a cozy cottage on, I don't know, the shores of Wales, and I, would go and walk to the village and, I don't know, talk with the locals at the pub and go walk to the bookstore and read Jane Austen under a willow tree. That's your lifestyle. I'm just throwing out examples. I'm being a little silly. But what is your lifestyle? Does your lifestyle look like you being like a single person? Does it look like you being married with children? Is it in a cozy cottage? Is it in a big house? Is it in a penthouse apartment? Because it's a massive change. And I think here, and that may sound like, Bethany, like you're selling me a dream here. Well, you're going to get that dream, because the whole point here is that you're going to get that dream lifestyle, look around and say, oh my gosh, this didn't fix everything. And then you're going to go through this mental process, this emotional process of realizing there was nothing to be fixed anyway. That emotions are transient, that you're not meant to be happy every single day of your life, and that happiness isn't a destination. I think some of you are people who say, I'll be happy when I'm married, I'll be happy when I have a child, I'll be happy when I move out of this town, I'll be happy when I quit this job, and you put off your happiness, and that's just not how it works. And then that's it. That's the whole lesson. I'm giving you the cheat code here. That's what you're meant to learn through this process. And it's one of those things that you won't believe until you're in it. And a lot of us feel this way, right? We look at celebrities complaining about their mental health and we say, who are you? Read the room. People are starving and you're complaining about your mental health. You have everything, right? We think that. We think that if you're famous, if you're rich, if you have X, Y, and Z, you should be happy. You should be grateful. And there's a nugget of truth to that, but it's not like that. That's just not how it works. You could have all the money in the world, right? And so I think that's what it is. And so through this, you are really coming to this place of making peace with your own mind and your own emotions, and your humanity almost. I feel like there's a part of your soul that like rebels against this aspect of humanity that really strives to get to this place of like pure bliss, and it just isn't like that. And as soon as you get one thing, you're gonna want to desire more. And I feel like there's a part of you that rebels against that too, because you're like, no, I would be so grateful if I had that. Yeah, but you can be grateful for something and still want more. And when one desire is fulfilled, another comes up. It's part of human nature. Okay. We have school, we have family, and we have flowers. Okay, this flowers card is just straight up echoing that idea of like you romanticizing your future lifestyle. Like your future lifestyle is a romanticized like version of your life. Sorry. So a huge focus, right, on like style and aesthetics and, you know, kind of like living your life like it's a movie or a novel, that kind of thing. Now, and it could also be speaking to you having like a physical glow up as well. I will say that. Now, with the school card, this can mean a lot of things. For some of you, this could be like, you know, your future lifestyle involves you going to a beautiful college, a beautiful university. I mean, that's why like dark and light academia are like these huge like aesthetics. You know, like it's definitely romanticized, right? Like academic life, you can romanticize that all day long. So for some of you, it could literally mean that. That's a big part of your future lifestyle, is like walking around this beautiful ivy covered campus, that kind of thing. For others of you, does anyone else think ivy on buildings is really pretty? I'm sure most of you do. Anyway, so for others of you though, this could be talking about you studying a lot. Part of it could be you studying certain spiritual things, studying new sort of like passion projects. So like gardening, let's go back to that example. If you've never done that before, that's a big learning curve. So you would need to do a lot of studying. So it can talk about individual study. It could talk about you going back to school or deciding to further your education in some way, or you going to university for the first time. Like all of you are doing different things, right? But I think that regardless, with this school card, you're learning a lot. You're learning a lot about yourself. You're learning a lot about your new environment, especially for those of you who move somewhere. I mean, you have to learn everything, even like just where the post office is, right? Like you have to learn a lot. With family card here, for some of you, like if you were really, really wanting me to bring up soul family, if you were wanting me to bring up children, because that's a big part of like your idealized dream lifestyle that we were talking about, then this is confirmation that you will get that. And for others of you, this could be talking about healing wounds from your family and you having to learn acceptance of that. Okay. I feel like I want to end your reading here. Well, we can get the house card. I don't really see a need for the Zodiac one. Let's do, I think I said card. Let's do this. Let's do the house die, and let's just see which houses are going to be most significant in this future lifestyle for group 2. Okay, I don't count that because it went off the table. Okay, we have the second house. So this talks about your material abundance, anything in relation to the material world, your finances, your resources. So big changes coming up with your living situation, the car that you drive, your means of transportation, your any, like your wardrobe even, like anything material in your life. Big changes. Okay, we've got the third house of communication. I was hoping you would get this because we were talking over and over in the beginning about you living your truth. We were talking about Mercury. There you go. That's the third planet, third house, Mercury. So you are going to be living your truth, speaking your truth, and having the freedom to be honest about how you feel. and advocating for yourself. I mean, you're not in this lifestyle where you gotta watch your tongue because, you know, like if your boss fires you, you don't know when you're gonna get another job, and so you have to bite your tongue all the time. Or having friends where, you know, your friendship is contingent on you telling them what they want to hear all the time. Like, that's not in your lifestyle anymore. And we have the 8th house, not surprising, because you got the Death card in the beginning. So Scorpio energy, that's where I said the overlap was with group 1. Major transformation, your present, current lifestyle. Like, you are having so many changes with the affirmation for acceptance, the 8 of Wands, the Death card. So many changes. Like, the life that you're living now is not your future lifestyle, like, by any means. Like, massive changes. Some of you going back to school, some of you becoming a parent, some of you moving, relocating, like, just massive changes. Okay, group 2, this was your reading. It played out differently than what I expected. It is what it is, you know, like, I have to say the messages that come through, and I hope during this reading you never felt like you were being lectured to, but I felt like it was important to say the messages as they came through. But also, like, you know, if someone tells you that you're gonna get your dream lifestyle someday, you're like, eye roll, okay. Like, there has to be a balance here. Like, I have to say what I see, even if it's not all positive. But also, to be honest, like, that's more real to how life is, you know, and there's gonna be a lesson in that. But, you know, if I were you, I would rather learn through positive changes than learn from, like, the 10 of Swords tower destruction, you know? Like, sometimes good things can teach us stuff too. All right, group 2, this was your message. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.
Pas de soleil, 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 pas de soleil.
Hi, group 3. So let's talk about your future lifestyle. It was funny. As I was flipping over your cards, I was like, wow, this is starting off really positive. And then literally the next card I flipped over was the Sun. And I was like, okay, yeah. Things don't get any better than the Sun. Okay, so we have the 6 of Wands, we have the 5 of Swords, we have the Knight of Cups, the Sun, and we have the Ace of Cups. Okay. So, your future lifestyle, there is, especially with the 5 of Swords next to the 6 of Wands, there is some sort of battle that you're winning. I don't know if you've had like this long-standing argument with a family member, or if you've had a friendship that was really more like frenemies than a genuine friendship, or if you've had a difficult rocky romantic relationship with somebody, or if you've had a lot of tension with your coworkers, but it's something there, like this long-standing battle that you've had with someone, or even could be, I guess, with a circumstance in your life. Like maybe you have never found a job that you actually liked, like you have always hated every single job that you've ever worked, or maybe you have never liked where you lived, but there's something there about you finally winning at something. With the Five of Swords, like you're finally defeating something, you're finally cutting something out, or cutting someone out of your life, like you're finally feeling like you have freedom and success from something that's been weighing you down, and it's something tied to your lifestyle, right? And so let's go back to that example of, let's say, a rocky romantic partnership. Let's use that as an example. So let's say you've had this on and off again relationship with someone who treats you pretty badly, but for whatever reason, you kept taking them back, or you weren't sure if you should leave, or you weren't sure if you had the resources, or whatever. Let's say that is what was happening. You are finally in this future lifestyle cutting them out, and with the Knight of Cups and the Ace of Cups, that could be you welcoming in a happy, healthy partnership where you actually feel emotionally fulfilled, where the person is funny and clever and charming and emotionally intelligent and has a lot to offer you and could grow into something long term. And so like you're dating, you're having fun, you are feeling a lot more lighthearted, and you are feeling comfortable and optimistic about your love life, which is affecting your lifestyle, right? So you're not just sitting at home eating ice cream, feeling sorry for yourself. You're having fun, you're going out on dates, you're exploring, you're getting to know this new person, you're having late night talks on the phone, that kind of thing. So you see how this can manifest in different ways, right? But the good news here with your future lifestyle, you are defeating a long-standing problem, you're overcoming it. You are having more love in your life, you are having more hope, more optimism about your future, and you are in love with your life. Like that's how I would phrase it. Like in love with, like, this future lifestyle, I think just feels so good, because whatever this problem was, and it's going to be different for all of you, but whatever this problem was that you have finally overcome, it's really giving you this sense of freedom. It's like, okay, I'm finally free from that, and you're happier, you're lighter, you're more optimistic, you are hopeful. For some of you, like maybe you have been in, let's say, nursing school. That's really hard, right? And so maybe there were times where you felt like you were going to quit, you felt like you were going to give up, and you're like, no, I'm just going to push through. I only have this amount of classes I need to take and pass. And so like you stuck with it, you worked hard, and you have finally graduated, and you feel so good about that, right? So it's something like that. It's something that's been a long-standing problem in your life. For some of you, it could be like if it's a long-standing like argument with a family member, maybe you have finally cut ties, or you have finally figured out how to set healthy boundaries and maintain it. So it's gonna vary, but I think for the first time in a really long time, your lifestyle feels emotionally fulfilling. It doesn't feel like a constant battle to get up in the morning and to get through it. It feels like on a day-to-day basis, you're happy, you're feeling confident, you're feeling more open-hearted, you are feeling like life finally has something to offer you. Instead of you feeling so drained, you feeling so tired, you feeling like life is just beating you down, you finally feel victorious yourself. Okay, let's continue. We've got the Dormouse here. We have Ivy. And we have Believe. Okay, So additional messages are coming through that are tied to your tarot as well. With that Six of Wands and with the Ivy card here, this card always makes me think of being the star, the chosen one, the center of attention, because in this oracle deck, this card here, she is the one that's featured on the outside box, and so she's the star. So like out of all the cards in the deck, whoever the publisher is or the creator of the deck, I don't know who makes that decision, but they chose her. They chose her. And so, especially with this Believe card as well, like you're feeling like if life has been passing you by and you felt like, man, just like defeated, bogged down, like I don't know if I'm gonna make it through, you finally feeling victorious, you finally feel like life has smiled down on you, like fate has worked in your favor, you feel like finally it's my turn, finally I'm getting the recognition that I have been deserving, finally someone has chosen me, finally the universe has chosen me. And so that can be like in your career, it can be in your love life, but it's changing your lifestyle because it's a big part. And with this Dormouse card here, for some of you, this is finding a place of belonging, finding your home in something. And so you can be finding your home in a physical location, within a certain community. You could be finding your home in your career, like finding the perfect job for you, having coworkers that you actually enjoy working with. I can even think of myself in this. Like I definitely felt like I found my people when I discovered astrology and tarot. Like the community, not even just here on my channel, but I see on other channels as well. Like it's so warm, it's so light, it's so loving, it's so supportive and compassionate and understanding. And like you compare the comments on like a tarot reading compared to comments on, I don't know, just other other popular video topics on YouTube, it's a big difference. I don't want to put anyone down, but it's a big difference. And so there's something like that where you feel like you found your people, you feel like you found your place of belonging, you feel like you found this place where you can shine, you can be a star, and you're finding a lot of success. And and for some of you, like I said, it could be your love life. Like you maybe felt like unlovable, like why can't I find someone who wants to pour into me the way that I'm willing to give and the way that I'm willing to be emotionally vulnerable and open. Like why can't I find someone who's willing to put in the effort the way that I'm willing to put in the effort? And then finally finding a partner who is going to be a partner and and feeling so happy and so optimistic about your love life. And like that definitely can change like your day-to-day lifestyle. If you were feeling really down and depressed and unlovable versus being happy and content in a partnership, or finally feeling like your dating life is going better, it can change, right? It changes your mood, it changes how you show up in your life, and it can change how much you're willing to put yourself out there and go do stuff, okay? And so with this Believe card, you're definitely feeling a lot more confident. I don't know if you're a fire sign, but it definitely feels like you're embodying that energy of Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, of just being more adventurous, being more open, wearing your heart on your sleeve, and just putting yourself out there more. And with the Dormouse card, like I said, some of you could be getting a new home, a new living situation. With the Dormouse, I always think of like a really cozy energy. And so like, yes, things are getting happier and more exciting for you, but I feel like there's still this energy here of comfort. So I feel like your future lifestyle still has a lot of, as new and fresh as like the sun is bringing in and the Six of Wands and you being more of like the center of attention, you getting more recognition and all of that, there's still an element here of comfort. So this could be like you are still, even if you're more in the limelight, right? Like let's say you got a promotion, or maybe you have a YouTube channel and your channel blew up and, you know, like more people know your name now. You have a little bit of fame or something like that. Let's say something like that happened to you. You still have those same comforting aspects that I think have helped you cope so far. So like for me, I love to read, so I would still have that in my lifestyle of like going to the library and going to bookstores and reading a lot. You know, for you, it could be something totally different. Maybe you love to bake and that's something that's very comforting to you. And so you're still having time for that, and that's still a big part of your lifestyle. Or maybe you like to go to the botanical garden and that's how you unwind. Or maybe you like to do yoga and that's something that's comforting to you. So whatever your comfort kind of things are, that's still here in your lifestyle. Don't feel like you're being pushed so far into the limelight, or you have so many eyes on you, or things are changing so much that that you don't still have those same, you know, things that comfort you. You still have time for that. I also feel like with this Ivy card and this Believe card, and I don't know exactly why this message is coming up, but if there's something that you've been struggling with, like let's say you have been really wanting to cut out sugar, or you've been really some sort of lifestyle change, like maybe you really wanted to become a vegan and you're just a vegetarian. Probably shouldn't say just a vegetarian because I respect that a lot. But anyway, you get what I'm trying to say though. Let's say there's something that a lifestyle change that you've been wanting to do, but for some reason you just couldn't commit to it. This is saying you are going to commit to that lifestyle change in the future and you are going to be successful. It is going to happen. So don't give up hope. You are going to be successful in that. And so, you know, like maybe you eat out all the time and maybe you don't cook for yourself because cooking has always been intimidating for you. You're going to find a way to finally commit to learning how to cook. Something like that, some sort of lifestyle change, or like you have always wanted to get up early and go to bed early, but you've always been a night owl. You are going to be able to commit to that change. So whatever lifestyle change that you have tried and failed in the past, maybe repeatedly, maybe you have already given up at this point, be rest assured, you are going to try again in the future, and you are going to make that lifestyle change permanent, okay? We have Life Laundromat. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. Choices, destiny, and consequences. And then we have ego trap here. Ego, judgmental thinking, superiority complex, check yourself. Okay. Group 3, stick with me here. Okay. You're going to be feeling super empowered, and you're going to feel like you have more choices available to you than you ever have before. So let's take it all the way back, right, to your tarot. So maybe you finally landed your dream job after having so many like rejections. You've been job searching for months. You're finally victorious. You have finally landed your dream job. And you have so many choices available to you now because you can buy more stuff and you can have more experiences and you can travel and you have the money to do stuff, right? Money can equal freedom in our society, right? But maybe all of this applause, all of this recognition, all of this success, maybe you start to feel yourself a little bit too much, okay? Like they're showing me, you know how like, especially I think in hip hop, when rappers make it big, they start to brag about all the stuff that they can buy, right? Like it's all in their songs, and those status symbols are like giving them credibility. Like, look at how successful I am. Look at how good I am at rapping. I sell this many albums. I have this many views on my music videos. I'm charting at this number on the Billboard. You wish you were me. You wish you were, you know, and they start talking a lot of smack. And they, you know, start to brag about all of the material abundance that they have and all of the resources that they have. And That doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? Like if you're bragging that, I think it's Nicki Minaj, in some of her songs, she has bragged about being able to like pay for her niece's like college and stuff like that. Like that's really cool, right? It doesn't have to always be negative. Bragging doesn't always have to be negative. It can be good, like, look, you know, I made it, I did it. That's good. It's good to validate yourself. It's good to recognize that. However, within reason, like there's always a tipping point, right? So it's good to brag a little bit. It's good to praise yourself a little bit and to use that money for good, 100%. However, it can get to a point to where you're being arrogant. So there's confidence and then there's arrogance, right? There's a tipping point. And so I feel like this is Spirit saying, listen, like don't get too ahead of yourself. Like we know you've been waiting for this for a long time. And a lot of you, I mean, honestly, are with the Six of Wands and the Sun card and the Ivy card, some of you really are getting some kind of level of fame here. I will say that, like some sort of like high position where there's a lot of eyes on you. So it may not look like traditional fame, like you're blowing up all over social media, although you could be. For some of you, it could be like you getting that promotion or you getting that higher ranking position where a lot of people have to answer to you or something like that. You know, whatever. But, or even for some of you, like if we're talking about your love life here, and that has what has been the struggle for you. It could be like all of a sudden, after being ignored on dating apps, you have all of this attention and everyone's trying to date you and ask you out, whatever, and you start playing the field and breaking hearts left and right just because you can. So it's like, you know, it's good to be feeling yourself. It's good to be confident, but within reason. Like don't hurt anybody else in the process and just keep your ego in check. Like don't get too big of a head here, you know, like just, and we all have an ego, so don't feel like this is an attack or something like that. But I mean, I empathize with you just personally. This isn't even from your cards. I empathize with you personally on this because like I worked so hard like all throughout my education, and I used to really, honestly, if we're being honest, I used to like really look down on certain people that I knew who did not study, did not take their courses seriously. Like I used to have this mindset that I was better than them because they were over there failing their classes and screwing up, and I felt a little bit superior because I made straight A's. That's how I felt. And that was my ego, 100%. That was my ego. So everybody does this in different ways to a different extent, right? Like we all have egos. But it's just saying, keep it in check. Just be mindful. Like, you know, just be careful. Don't let all of this success or this fame or this attention go to your head. Just be careful, okay? Because your ego, it's a sneaky, sneaky thing. And sometimes, right, it's hard as well. Like if we're talking about your lifestyle changing because you're getting a level of fame and recognition, if you're famous on any level, you have people who love you and you have people who can't stand you. And so that's the thing too. Don't let your ego get easily bruised by the people who can't stand you, because if you live for the applause, you die by the applause as well. So don't let other people's opinion of you make or break you. You can't let the praise go to your head, because if you do, the criticism will kill you. You cannot base like your self-worth on any sort of external validation, or you will always end up with a broken heart and a bruised ego. So I think that's a little lesson in there too. So, like, let's just use YouTube as an example because we're all familiar with it because you're on that platform right now. So, let's say you have a YouTube channel and it blows up and you have all of these comments, whereas before, maybe your videos got 1 or 2 comments, right? Let's say you have 50 positive comments and you're like, oh, feeling yourself, feeling all great, and you start to get really cocky about it, right? And then you have 1 negative comment. Let's say because you have based to an extent, whether you knew it or not, your self-worth or your value as a creator on comments, on positive feedback, and you were getting a little bit full of yourself, like, look at all these positive comments, that one negative comment is going to eat at you. And you're not going to be able to let it go. So I think that's what Spirit is kind of trying to preemptively warn you about and ask you to be mindful about, okay? And it's hard. It's hard because the ego, it's a sneaky thing. It's sneaky, okay? But you do have more choices. You do have more choices. And I think ultimately, out of all the groups today, your future lifestyle is going to give you the most freedom, the most adventure, and I think almost like some welcome surprises along the way. Okay. We have cleansing body and spirit. We have tears of joy and sadness. We have gratitude and thanks. We were talking a lot about being grateful, I think. Maybe that was your group. Maybe it wasn't. And go with the flow. Okay. Really like to see this. I think it's a little bit of a journey with you adjusting to this new lifestyle. I do feel like when you have a lot of eyes on you and you have a lot of people paying attention to you and you have a lot of people just in your energy field with that Six of Wands, I really feel like self-protection becomes so much more important. Like energetically, I mean, I do think about this sometimes, like ultra famous people. What is that experience like for them, having so many people talking about them, speculating about them, writing about them, watching them, like energetically? How does that feel to have all of that weight on you? Because I know, like, if you're watching this tarot reading, you know what I mean. Like, there's a reason why people have, like, people wear like the evil eye for like protection, right? Like, if I can speak something into existence in my own life, can I speak something into existence in someone else's life? If I wish bad upon someone, does it manifest in their life? Now, I think that could potentially happen, just personally. I feel like that could potentially happen. However, I think if you wish bad upon someone else, you get bad back. And if you wish good upon someone else, you get good back. Like, I think that there has to be a price for that. Like, I feel like there's a cost. I do feel like that. And that's just my own personal belief system. That's why I'll give you an example. If I don't like a coworker, I don't wish that they get fired. I never wish that. I wish that they would get a better job offer somewhere else that they will be happier with and that will be better for them. Like, that way they're still out of my life. I don't have to deal with them, but I'm not wishing bad upon them. That's my little thing. That's what I do sometimes. But I wish even, I don't have enemies, but if I did, like, I wish my enemies well. Okay? I just don't want them in my energy field. But anyway, I mean, to get back to your reading here, I always wonder about that, like energetically, how does that feel? So I'm not saying that you're going to be as famous as Taylor Swift. I'm not saying that. But judging by your cards, you are going to have more attention on you. The sun is the center of the universe, right? Or at least our planetary system. So you are going to be at the center of attention. Whether you want it or not, I'm sorry, I'm sniffling a little bit here. But whether you want all of those eyes on you or not, some of you may want the money without the fame. Some of you may want your future romantic partner, but you don't want all of the attention from all of the men or women everywhere. You just want your one person, right? But it's not working like that. Like, you are having this attention on you, whether you want it or not. And so I feel like energetically over time, that's going to start to affect you to have so many people talking about you, to have so many eyes on you. And I think that's where this cleansing body and spirit is coming from. Spirit is saying, with all of this attention on you, if you're feeling out of whack, if you're feeling out of sorts, if you're not feeling like your normal self, if you're feeling disconnected from your own energy, get some crystals, take a salt bath, take a walk outside, spend some time alone, whatever helps you rest and recharge, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. And you're taking the bad with the bad, the bad with the good and the good with the bad, with this tears of joy and sadness here. Like, it's a double-edged sword, you know, like you can't have one thing without the other. You can't have the positive aspects of fame without having the negative aspects too, you know? And so you're gonna have to compromise on some things with this future lifestyle. Like, there's gonna be a lot of good stuff, but with that good stuff, there's conditions tied to it, right? So let's say this is about your love life and you are wanting to you've been wanting to get married and you finally get proposed to. Let's say that's what happens. That's the victory. You finally get proposed to. You finally met the right person. It's finally all happening for you. Okay, let's say that's what it is. You still have to take the bad with the good. Like, yes, you are planning your dream wedding and all eyes are going to be on you. You're the bride or the groom, whatever. But there's a lot of stress associated with planning a wedding, right? No matter how much money you have. Sometimes more money makes it worse, because then the wedding just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's understanding that not everything is going to be all good. Like, there's still going to be some bittersweet parts of this, okay? Now, with gratitude and thanks, I feel like that's how you keep your ego in check as well. Being grateful for what you have, being grateful for this lifestyle that you have that has moved in a positive direction here. Just being grateful and going with the flow and not being so like, not trying to control too much, because fame is something that I imagine could get away from you very easily, right? Like, especially if you have like really fast success or you have really fast growth, or even dating life, right? Like, if you have been feeling single and you haven't had any like responses or whatever on dating apps or whatever you've been trying to do, and then all of a sudden you have all of these matches, all of these suitors, all of these people trying to date you, you know, it's like, yes, I'm grateful for that, but you can't control it, right? Like, it can start to just get away from you, like trying to keep up and remember who you've said what to, who you've had, you know. And so I feel like it's like, go with the flow. Don't try to control the outcome so much. Don't try to force things so much. And so I feel like, you know, there's also an aspect of this, because with that 5 of Swords and that 6 of Wands, I keep going back to that because I feel like those are really significant energies. There is a feeling with your future lifestyle of like, I finally made it. I finally overcame that thing. I finally did it. But you're going to find in life, there's always some sort of new problem that comes along. There's always some sort of new challenge. And so I feel like Spirit is encouraging you to savor this moment, because it is going to be fleeting, right? Like, it's not, you can't always be as happy and as overjoyed as the sun, right? Like, that's a fleeting kind of feeling. As good as it feels, it's not gonna last forever. And so learning to, and this is kind of a repeating theme I think in all the readings today, but learning how to just go with the flow of life, and when things are good, be grateful, and when things get challenging again in your day-to-day life, just take it as it comes and do your best. And I think also too, I feel like there's a recommendation here for you to just let Spirit take you on a ride almost, because your whole reading feels very adventurous. It feels like something like super exciting is going to be happening to you, and Spirit's just saying, just go with it. Just go with it. Like, take this success, this recognition, this victory and run with it. Just go with it. Just see where it takes you. And don't be afraid of success. Don't limit yourself. Don't get scared that all of a sudden you're the center of attention. So, you know, like if you get famous overnight, that can be scary. Like as exciting as it can be to like go viral, I imagine that can be like a little bit scary. Like, oh my gosh, 1 million people have like watched my video. What? Or, you know, like if you haven't been getting any matches like whatsoever, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, someone is on a dating app, because I just keep seeing like messages in like an inbox or something. And then all of a sudden you have all of these people trying to ask you out on a date. You may get a little bit freaked out and like put it off and be like, you know, like I've been wanting a new romantic partner. Like I've been wanting to date, but now I'm kind of freaked out, you know, and you may get a bit of anxiety, or, and that could be like your ego trying to protect you and is holding you back, right? You know, it could look like you've been applying to jobs for months, and then all of a sudden you get a bunch of interviews and you're like scared to even go on the interview, right? You know what I mean? So there's just this recommendation to not hold yourself back, to not be afraid of success, to not be fearful of these positive changes that are coming in for you. Oh, I guess I forgot this card. Okay, sorry about that. We have, I don't know how that got out of order. We have Summer Dragon here. Summer, the sun. You are like the main attraction. Like there's so much here about you getting so much more attention. So many more eyes are on you in this future lifestyle, 100%. With the summer dragon here too, like summer doesn't last for forever, right? So while the sun is shining on you, while you have the limelight, while you have the attention, use it to your advantage, but don't let it go to your head. So I feel like that's just echoing what we've already been saying, so I won't dwell too long on this card. Okay, we have time to decide. We have books. We have sensitivity, and we have writing here. Maybe some of you are finally hearing back from a publisher and finally getting your book published. For others of you, I feel like this is saying like you're going to be the main character, like you are the star attraction here, 100%. For others of you too, with this sensitivity card, I feel like that's echoing what we were talking about before, with that idea of like energetically it's gonna feel like a lot with so many eyes on you and so many people talking about you. You know, you may just feel more sensitive to that. And so, you know, just make sure energetically you are cleansing and you are taking time for self-care and recovery and restoration of self, because you want to make sure you're always connected to your own energy and it's not like other people's opinion of you or other people's beliefs about you are kind of like leaking into your energy field and kind of messing with your mood without you even knowing it. You don't want that. So definitely some like protection crystals or some cleansing salt baths, something like that to help you out could be beneficial here. Whatever makes you feel safe, whatever makes you feel protected. Even wearing certain colors might be helpful. Okay, and time to decide. I feel like you're being given like this opportunity, and it's like, again, like, are you going to be afraid of success, or are you going to just ride this wave? Because you're being offered something, and it's something that is a heart's desire. With the Ace of Cups, this is a heart's desire. It says heart desire right here, like your true desire. So whatever is in your heart of hearts, whatever it is that you've been craving, what you've been wanting, that's gonna happen here, but you have to decide to take it. And I think you are, because we got the Knight of Cups here. So it's like, here's the cup being offered to you by the universe, and here it is, like, you're taking it. And you're not the King of Cups here, you're just the Knight of Cups, you know? Like, this is totally new to you, but you're running with it. And I think that's really what you're meant to do here. Like, you're meant to seize this opportunity that has been living in your heart for quite some time, and you're meant to run with it. So it could be a dream job, a dream relationship, but it's going to be something that affects your lifestyle, because that's the whole point of this reading, right? I know some of you are like, well, Bethany, you know, you get off topic and you, but I mean, I don't know. The messages have to come through how they come through. All right, so yes, and I do think it's a bit of a sensitive matter as well. I mean, if it's in your heart of hearts here, like this is a big wish of yours, a big dream of yours that's gonna impact your lifestyle, I mean, you're gonna feel very sensitive about it. You're gonna feel like you want to hold on to it. You're gonna feel like you don't want this opportunity to pass you by. This is your chance to like rewrite your own story. So like you want to go for it, you want to do it, and it's gonna feel like a dream come true, and it might feel like a fairy tale. It might feel like something that only happens in books, like this can't be real life. And so that's why I think fame was coming through. Like no one expects to become famous. Like even if that's your dream, you're like, there's probably a part of you that's like, well, it's never gonna happen for me though, you know, and that's your ego talking sometimes. Like, yeah, your ego can give you a superiority complex, but it can also give you an inferiority complex. So sometimes you may have these like really crushing self-doubts, and then you like overcompensate, and then you might feel to the point of, you know, being a bit arrogant, a bit overly confident. So it's about finding that balance. And I think you do that, honestly, when you remember that all of the work that you do, everything that you do is connected to source. And so whatever creative project you're working on, whatever you're trying to accomplish, in whatever area of your life, doesn't matter. And I know we're getting beyond like the topic of the reading here, but I think this is helpful for you to remember, no matter what you're trying to achieve in life, you're doing it by co-creating with spirit. And so it's never fully on you. And so, you know, if something doesn't work out, it's because spirit is protecting you there, and there's something better for you, something that is actually meant for you. And sometimes, you know, what we think that we want isn't actually what we want. And so anyway, just remember that. I think it's going to help with your ego giving you a bit of trouble. It gives us all a bit of trouble from time to time. So again, like, don't feel like that's a judgment in any way. Okay. This was a lot. Man, I definitely feel like for many of you though, this is talking about fame and you getting more attention and you being praised and recognized for something, and that just spilling out and changing your lifestyle, you know? Okay, you're definitely becoming more popular, if nothing else. Okay, let's see what areas of your life are going to be affected here in this lifestyle change, and then we will end your reading. So group 3. Okay, we have the 11th house here. So Aquarius, some of you are becoming internet famous. Like some of you are becoming internet famous. Some of you are kind of becoming, this sounds bad, but some of you are achieving a level of success that no one else in your friend group has achieved. And so you're getting a lot of positive recognition for that. Like your friends are like hyping you up and being like, man, like I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you like had that dream come true. So like you could be like the first person in your friend group who this sounds bad. I'm not saying that to be married is to be better than other people or anything like that, but it's a level of commitment that maybe no one else in your immediate friend group has, I don't know, come to. And maybe they don't even want to get married, but it's the fact that this is like setting you apart from the rest of your friends. And so like maybe you're the first to get married. And so when you are planning a wedding and you're the bride or the groom, you are the center of attention, right? And so it could be something like that. It could be that you are getting a new job and you're going to be making a salary that's so much higher than what your friends make. Or you are, like I said, if you're internet famous and none of your friends are, you have achieved something that they haven't achieved. And so it's like setting you apart. That's probably a better way of expressing it. It's setting you apart. It's differentiating you from the rest of your friends. That's a better way of expressing that, because I really, really don't want to say that, you know, to have those things makes you better than someone else. I don't want to convey that message, okay? Because what's right for you or what would make you happy is not necessarily, obviously, what would make somebody else happy. Okay. I'm not perfect, okay? Sometimes I don't always express the messages correctly on the first go. All right, and now we have the second house. No surprise there. No surprise there. I mean, I expect to get the second house with this kind of reading because it talks about your material abundance and your material resources. So, you know, if you're making more money, if you are dating someone who makes more money than you, or if you are becoming famous and you're able to monetize that fame, then you are going to have more luxury items. You are going to be able to go out to eat more. You're going to be able to travel, vacation, have a nicer home, have a nicer car. That kind of, those lifestyle changes come with like more money. The audio cut out here, but I believe what I was saying is you can also start to get recognized in public, that fame aspect we were talking about. So for example, someone could say, hey, like I subscribe to your YouTube channel, I know you, that sort of thing, just being recognized even when you're just out and about doing your day-to-day errands. Okay, I can't remember. I think we've gotten 2 houses so far. Let's get one more. Oh my gosh, we have the 11th house again. Okay, yeah. Some of you, that was your first house. So that whatever I said for the 11th house, talking about like your friend group and like internet fame and stuff like that, we're emphasizing that. That's spirit like co-signing, like yes, like what we said about that house is very much right on point for you, group 3. Okay, so this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. And yeah, I will see you in my next one. Please take care, group 3, and I hope you have a great day.